потрібні безпекові рішення, потрібні...
Security solutions are needed. Financial solutions are needed, including Russian assets. Political solutions are needed. And we need the courage of all our partners to see the truth, to admit the truth and to act accordingly. Ukraine's ambitions to join NATO seem to be fading fast, and now Kiev is pushing for a system of guarantees modeled directly on NATO's powerful Article 5, one that could ensure Western protection in the face of continuing Russian aggression. President Zelensky and his allies argue that a peace deal without true military backing would only embolden Moscow, leaving Ukraine vulnerable to future Russian threats and renewed attacks. Following intense negotiations in Berlin, Washington, and key European capitals appear willing to offer Ukraine strong, Article 5-style commitments, pledges that go beyond words to real defense assurances. Despite the promises, negotiators admit that the specifics of these security guarantees, what they include and how they would be enforced, remain largely undefined and uncertain. Today we heard another signal from Moscow that they are preparing for the next year to be a year of war. And these are signals not only for us. It is important that partners see this. And it is important that they not only see it, but also react. Partners in the United States of America, who often say that Russia supposedly wants to end the war. But from Russia, a completely different rhetoric, different signals are sounding. We need to see this mood of Russia and react to it. And when they are in this mood, then they will undermine diplomacy, trying to cover up their desire to destroy Ukraine and Ukrainians, their desire to legitimize theft of our land with diplomatic formulations, with pressure on this or that point in documents. Security solutions are needed. Financial solutions are needed, including Russian assets. Political solutions are needed. And we need the courage of all our partners to see the truth, to admit the truth and to act accordingly. The outcome of these meetings, the outcome for Europe, must be such that Russia feels that its desire to continue fighting next year will be pointless, because Ukraine will have support. This depends 100% on Europe. Defense analysts caution that words alone won't stop Moscow, insisting that only the actual commitment of Western combat-ready forces would serve as a serious deterrent to Russia. The Kremlin, however, has flatly rejected any proposal involving NATO troops on Ukrainian soil, calling it unacceptable and a direct provocation against Russia's security interests. A six-point joint statement by European leaders offers some clarity. A European-led, US-backed force would be deployed in Ukraine's rear. US-assisted force will help rebuild Ukraine's military, secure seas and skies. Deal anchored in a legally binding commitment in the event of a future attack. Experts warn that equating these promises to NATO's Article 5 is misleading, since the guarantees being discussed lack the same automatic and collective military response clause. Some caution that even NATO's own Article 5 has appeared less solid recently, with Trump as US president repeatedly questioning America's obligation to defend its allies. Analysts also point out that there's still no real clarity on how far these so-called guarantees would go, particularly whether they include actual military intervention. Expert on Eurasian security, Mathieu Balague said, "It really is about how credible we are in terms of escalation control and escalation dynamics against the Kremlin. And right now, that credibility is very low to non-existent." Ukrainian lawmaker, Oleksandr Morezko, said, "The only way such a guarantee could work for Ukraine is if it frames any attack against Ukraine as an attack against the United States, mirroring another key part of Article 5. Because otherwise, they might be trying to bamboozle us again into non-legal empty assurances like under the Budapest Memorandum." Poland's Prime Minister says Washington has privately indicated a willingness to respond with force if Moscow renews its aggression, showing early signs of commitment from a US side. Still, the exact scope and form of potential American involvement, whether limited or full-scale, remain murky and unresolved. President Trump has made clear multiple times that under his leadership, the United States will not send its soldiers into Ukraine to confront Russian forces directly. In contrast, the European-led coalition appears more willing to act decisively, even preparing to deploy troops if necessary under joint coalition of the willing. German Chancellor Merz has proposed the idea of international peacekeepers operating along a demilitarized zone, with authority to respond immediately in case of renewed Russian fire. President Zelensky continues to stress that any American security pledge must be backed by formal congressional approval to ensure it carries real, lasting weight.